Welcome to our weekly Forex forecast. My name is Jay Norris. I teach the art of trading at Trading University. First market we'll take a look at will be the Australian US dollar. There's the Aussie 4-hour chart. That's the main chart I focus on. You can see you're at resistance there, 60-day resistance. Essentially, you're at a two-third retracement. You're at right at the two-third retracement of this big bear move down. Essentially, here's the U.S. election right there. So you've managed to retrace two-thirds of that. Pretty stout resistance generally, statistically speaking. That's a high probability area for the market to pause and correct from there. I'm short the Aussie accordingly. A couple threats to that position though, and we'll get to that shortly. Let's take a look at the bigger picture here, the daily chart of the Aussie. There you go. You can see some pretty big levels here. That green line on the bottom, that happens to be a pretty big long-term pattern. Essentially, that's your primary pattern support, by the way. You take, well, that's just a two-third retracement of this rally. So you have a two-third retracement of that rally. You draw that support line, and twice the market found support there. Longer term, you look at that resistance, pretty stout resistance up above, and that's you go back to the 2015 high to your 2016 low, and that's a two-third of that. So you could see that some pretty big levels in there in play in the Aussie. Again, I'm actually short it. Just started building a short position here against that 60-day resistance, and there we'll see how that works out though. Nothing's etched in stone. It's trading, that's for sure. No matter how good you are, you'll have losers, right? Next market, dollar Swiss. Dollar Swiss, you can see it's just hanging up on a little bit of support there, a little short-term support. Overall, you're pointing toward a retest of that 60-day support, essentially a two-third retracement of the U.S. presidential rally there. We'll have to see. Let me pop out to a daily chart, and I'll show you what's a little disappointing for us on the dollar Swiss is you really couldn't get beyond that 2015 high, right? I mean, you probed above it briefly, but the resistance is still there. You didn't even come close to getting a close above 103 even. That's what we want to see for long-term strength in this guy. So dollar Swiss, the momentum is down now, short-term here on the daily anyway, so you may have a little bit more downside. On the other hand, you are sitting on support right there. Next market we'll take a look at will be the dollar index itself. Not the most heavily traded futures, but on the other hand, definitely very influential market, definitely leading indicator market, and not getting a lot of definition there. Well, you found pretty good support right there. You got a good bounce off it. Now you're right at a two-third retracement level of that. From a J trader's perspective, though, you'd still be on the short side. Yeah, you're 6 days up. You held support 6 days up, but then on the other hand, those other relatively short-term patterns are down, the 12 and the 30. So not a lot of help here. Yeah, as a day trader, I said you'd be looking to short this guy, but on the other hand, it's right on top of support. So nothing to do. Can't short a market on top of support, right? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Next market, the euro. And here's the euro is really the threat to my short Aussie position. Euro's looking pretty good here. Let me pop out to a daily chart, and I'll show you what I've been looking at here. You've got a lot of shorts trapped in the euro. The long dollar trade following the U.S. election, essentially the short euro trade, that got real busy, really crowded, and there everyone was short the euro in there and long the dollar. But what happened? You pushed down. You made a new low. You took out the 2015 low here. Here's the 2015 low. You took it out here, and you just kind of sat there as traders accumulated short positions. And then what happened? They sprung the trap. So currently you've got a little bit of a short squeeze going on in the euro, and that's really the threat to any kind of a short dollar trade right here. Or in my case, I'm really short Aussie. Aussie dollar, by the way, is not in the dollar index itself, so you can have dollar strength and Aussie strength at the same time. But more shorter term, if the primary dealers here and even the central bankers decide to squeeze these short, let's put it this way, you have a lot of hedge funds, a lot of speculators short the euro, and you got the primary dealers and your bigger market makers had to take the other side of that. So they're in the driver's seat now. Actually, the longs are in the driver's seat as those shorts have to get squeezed out of that trade. It's the old risk tolerance threshold theory, right? If you can't take the pressure, you got to exit that trade, no matter how strong you believe you're right. You know, the money will outweigh that decision, right? Your wallet's more stubborn than your head. Well, ideally, but that's the threat here, that the big the primary dealers in your bigger market makers continue to squeeze that euro higher. Of course, all it's going to do is set us up for a longer term short in the euro. That 60-day would be perfect, right? I mean, what a perfect area to turn around, and you get a full 2/3 retracement of that sell-off based on the U.S. presidential election. So there's where I'm at. Let's cover the gold market next. Gold, you got to cover it. It's a great short-term trading vehicle. I've learned in the last month, just buying dips in that market. It's just smooth. It's a real sweet market. You could see you're at short-term resistance here. I'll put the resistance on there. You get a full 2/3 retracement of that. Again, the U.S. dollar rally after the presidential election. It's kind of a natural target, that big 2/3 level there. So we'll see how that pans out. On the other hand, you have short-term resistance here, and you know, perhaps in sympathy with the Aussie, you'll see a pullback in here. Last market we'll take a look at. This will be dollar yen. Dollar yen, interesting market because you had a pretty good dollar rally there, right? They couldn't squeeze these guys, right? The dollar bulls went right back to work in the yen, and you got a pretty good rally there. But you're getting into the barbed wire there. You got pretty good resistance up above right there. That really stands out to me. Yen, dollar yen strength, yen weakness, really. So to me, the trades I'm looking at are, I'm currently short the Aussie right now, and I'm watching the euro closely because we're making money buying dips in the euro, making money buying dips in the gold, and that's kind of a threat to that short Aussie position. I really don't care which way. One of them will give, and then we'll just continue to go along with that. Here's a cool chart too we'll close out with. That's all the markets together that we cover. You can see the Aussie dollars in yellow, the Swiss is in white, the euro is in blue, gold's in gold, and the yen is in red. And what I want you to see is those correlations. Look at how they really stretch that Aussie, and we've benefited from Aussie on the upside there, buying dips in it. But if you look at yen, and by the way, they're all moving in the same direction because we're looking at Aussie dollar, we're looking at Swiss dollar, we're looking at yen dollar. We're not used to looking at a lot of Forex traders. They look at euro, US dollar, and then US dollar, Swiss franc. We're looking at them all moving in the same direction. We're looking at the Aussie, the euro, the Swiss dollar, the gold dollar, the yen dollar, as opposed to looking at dollar pairs. So this is kind of a neat shot. You can see them all going in the same direction here. And what I want to point out is you have some divergence, don't you? Look at yen. You had marked yen weakness here. At the same time, you've had Aussie strength and kind of the Goldilocks markets here. Euro, kind of one of them, right? Euro gold right in the middle there. Aussie and Swiss franc showing strength, yen showing weakness. So you're having divergence here. You get the biggest moves when all these guys are moving together, as they were in here in the first half of the month. And now they're getting a little bit divergent there. So we'll see how that plays out. But definitely watching dollar. Definitely watching the Aussie dollar here to see if you get a pullback in there. And if you do, that'll probably be pretty influential for these other markets. But currently, a lot of divergence on the board here. My name is Jay Norris. I teach trading at Trading University. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.